Doctor Who, Prisoner of the Daleks, Chapter 1. "Don't be such a baby," said Stella. Scrum tried to pull his arm away, but Stella had a good grip on it. "Ow! I'm not a baby! Ow, ow, ow!" She dabbed the antiseptic wipe against the wound and then smiled brightly at him. "There you are, all done." Scrum withdrew his hand slowly, almost disbelievingly. The gash on his forearm looked sore but clean. "Isn't there anything else you can do?" "Amputation," Stella suggested archly. "I mean, really, it hurts, you know." Stella rolled her eyes. "How about a cryocharge?" "What does that do?" "Lowers your body temperature to absolute zero in about half a second. Literally freezes you on the spot. We take you back to a planet where there are proper hospital facilities, and they thaw you out and treat you." She smiled. "Don't look so worried, Scrum. I'm only kidding. I wouldn't waste a cryocharge on a great oof like you. They're for emergencies only." "Okay, you win. Here." Stella tossed a plastic-wrapped bandage at him, and it bounced off his head. "Last of the field dressings. All yours, big boy." "Don't make fun of me," Scrum said. "I'm not combat trained. I don't even like fighting. I'm a computer technician, not a soldier." They were sitting in the tiny medical compartment of the ship. It was too small to call it a sick bay. It was just big enough to hold a narrow bunk, some computers, stores, and a swivel chair for Stella. She spun round and picked up her bottle of water. "You were lucky not to lose your arm," she told him, taking a drink. "A couple of centimeters either way, and you'd be doing your computer programming one-handed." Scrum looked forlornly at his arm, and then tore open the field dressing with his teeth. He seemed to have shrunk even more than usual. He was short, a bit overweight, with sad eyes and lank, prematurely gray hair tied back in a stubby ponytail. The tip was dyed green, the only remnant of an effort long ago to make himself look more interesting to women. Stella put her water down. "What's up? Come on, you can tell me." "I nearly got us all killed back there," he said quietly. He looked up at her. "It wasn't even a proper mission. It was just a stupid bandit trap, and I nearly got us all killed." "Forget it. You're alive, and we're alive, and that's all that counts. Like I said, you were lucky. We're always lucky." He sighed. "Someday, our luck will run out." "We can make our own luck. Come on, let's get something to eat." She led the way down the narrow passageway to the galley. Scrum followed, pressing the bandage into position. "Bowman doesn't believe in luck. He won't see it that way." "Leave Bowman to me," Stella advised. A tall, dark, muscular man in combat fatigues was doing push-ups in the galley, hanging from a duct running across the ceiling that bent and creaked under his weight. He broke into a wide grin when he saw Stella and Scrum. "Hey, how goes it, my friends? How's the walking wounded?" "I'll live," said Scrum, forcing a smile. "Apparently." Stella slumped into another chair and scooped her black hair up into a scruffy topknot, tied it off with a rubber band. "We're seriously low on stores, Cutting Edge. I'm down to using some old antiseptic wipes because I haven't even got any back to Ray. We're going to have to stop soon and pick up some provisions." Cutting Edge dropped lightly onto the deck. "Man, that ain't going to be easy. We're in deep space, right near the border." "I'm going to have to put it to the captain." Cutting Edge wiped his neck with a towel and grinned. "Hey, rather you than me, babe." Stella paused outside the entrance to Bowman's cabin. It wasn't very often the crew called on the captain. She took a deep breath and opened the door. "Sorry to disturb you, Skipper." John Bowman dismissed the apology with a single movement of one finger. He was a big man in every sense of the word, tall, broad-shouldered, a body toned and hardened by decades of combat. His face looked as though it had been hewn from a single piece of granite. Deep-set eyes, burning beneath a jutting brow, a slightly broken nose above thin, straight lips. His dark hair was unkempt, streaked with gray now, tied back with an old blood-red bandana. "Ship's damaged," he said without preamble. His voice was a deep masculine growl. He never had to raise it to be heard, and he never wasted a word. "Pirates blew a hole in one of the aft fuel tanks. We're going to have to stop for repairs." Stella breathed a quiet sigh of relief. What was it she had told Scrum about being lucky? "Any suggestions on where?" she asked. Bowman sat forward in his chair. He had a small desk, cluttered with old pieces of equipment, weapons, monitors, charts. There was a small 3D hollow picture of a young man and a woman, grinning at the camera, their arms wrapped around a lanky, dark-haired teenager with a broken nose. He was smiling, too. Stella liked to think this was the young John Bowman, a lifetime ago, with his parents. But had he ever smiled? Stella never dared to ask. Bowman tapped one of the chart screens on his desk. He moved the hollow picture aside to give him more room. "We're in the Kappa Galanga sector. There's nothing here except pirates and the very edge of Earth space. We're 20 light years from the nearest habitable star system, 40 from what you might call civilization. We don't have enough fuel left for either." Stella frowned, peering at the charts. "So..." Bowman pointed to a single point of light on the map with one thick finger. "There's only one option. This place. Small, forgotten, not even listed on some recent charts, but it's within range. Used to be a frontier staging world, so it's probably got what we need." "It's right on the border," noted Stella cautiously. Bowman looked up at her. His gray eyes were as cold as steel. "I didn't say it wasn't risky." "But you did say it's our only option." "That's right." Stella looked closer, reading the name attached to the tiny planet. "Harala. Sounds lovely." "It won't be." The Wayfarer was a converted naval patrol ship that had been rescued from scrap 20 years before Bowman got a hold of it. It had been refitted more times than any one of its current crew could guess, and certainly more times than the entries in its logbook showed. The interior of the ship had evolved in accordance with the needs of its various crews over the years, but it remained cramped and claustrophobic. As the Wayfarer came into land on the planet Harala, Stella grew even more desperate to get out and get some fresh air. She was starting to feel trapped. She leaned over the back of the pilot's seat, peering over Cutting Edge's shoulder at the craggy brown surface of the planet as it sped beneath. "Spaceport," said Crumb, tapping one of the displays on the flight console. 20 clicks northwest." Cutting Edge brought the ship down on one of the small landing pads situated on the perimeter. The buildings were little more than rusting hulks, and there were no other ships in sight. "It's actually an old refueling station," Scrum explained. "This kind of place was fully automated anyway. As long as there's still some juice in the tanks, we can fill up and be on our way." "Okay," said Bowman. His voice rumbled quietly from the rear of the flight cabin. "Let's get this done. I don't have to remind you guys that we're right on the edge of human space. There's nothing and no one here, but I don't want to hang around and risk attracting any unnecessary attention. 1 hour shore leave, and then we go."